Very good evening to you and welcome to Primetime News live from the News First Centre in Colombo. I'm Nadim Majid.
I'm Stephanie Ladras.
Now, as people in the northern, northwestern and central provinces prepare to go to the polls tomorrow, tonight on Primetime News we take a look at the preparations for the Provincial Council polls and what voters need to know.
We have a comprehensive report later on in the news, but first a look at the headlines.
The headlines on News First at 9.
All preparations made for tomorrow's Provincial Council polls.
තමන්ගේ ඡන්දය නොබියව නිදහසේ තමන් කැමති ආකාරයකට දෙන්න පුළුවන් වාතාවරණය අපි හදලා දෙනවා.
24,500 police officers to be deployed in the three provinces for security. 9 persons, including an election monitor, injured in an attack on the residence of a Northern Provincial Council candidate. Fatal wasp attack at the Pudukulam Vidyalaya in Vavuniya prompts authorities to change the polling centre's location.
News First at 9.
Taking a look at your top stories, the Election Secretariat says that all preparations have been made for the Northern, Northwestern and Central Provincial Council polls to be held tomorrow.
4,363,252 persons from the three provinces are eligible to cast their vote tomorrow at 3,712 polling centres. Elections for the Northern Provincial Council will be held for the first time after the establishment of the Provincial Council system. Jaffna, Kilinochchi, Mannar, Vavuniya and Mullaitivu districts come under the purview of the Northern Provincial Council. 36 members are to be elected to the council at the election, while 2 bonus seats have been allocated. A total of 906 candidates will be contesting for the elections in the Northern Province. 832 polling stations have been set up in the province for the elections. Elections will also be held in the Kandy, Matale and Norelia districts tomorrow to elect 56 members to the Central Provincial Council. The Central Province too has been allocated 2 bonus seats. 1,517 candidates will be contesting for the Central Provincial Council election, which will see 1,889,557 eligible electors going to the polls. Voting will take place at 1,571 polling stations. 50 members will be elected to the Northwestern Provincial Council, which consists of the Kurunegala and Puttalam districts. 1,309 polling stations have been set up in the province for 1,754,218 electors who are eligible to cast their vote. 1,362 candidates are contesting the poll, while 2 bonus seats have been allocated for the province. 126 political parties and 75 independent groups are contesting for the Northern, Central and Northwestern Provincial Council polls.
Meanwhile, at a media briefing convened at the Election Secretariat today, Elections Commissioner Mahinda Deshapriya commented on tomorrow's polls.
යම් විදියකින් ඡන්දය නිදහස්ව සාධාරණව
If we can see that elections have not been fair at a certain polling station, then we can invalidate the results. We have created an environment where you can cast your vote without fear in any way you wish. We can say without a doubt that no one will be able to find out who you voted for. Go to your polling station as early as possible. Voting will take place between 7 a.m. and 4 p.m. The essential requirement to cast your vote is your identification card. The vote is your right. That is what I have to say to the public.
වළංගු හැඳුනුම්පතක් රැගෙන යෑම. ඡන්දය ඔබේ අයිතියයි ඒක තමයි කියන්න තියෙන මහජනයාට.
The Elections Commissioner also commented on security arrangements for the Provincial Council polls.
යුද හමුදාව යොදවන්න කියලා
We have not asked for the army to be deployed anywhere. We cannot say this for certain as yet because we can make that request if the situation requires it. We have not made a request as yet. However, we have informed the Inspector General of Police regarding locations where we feel that security needs to be beefed up. We have asked him to use police powers as much as possible.
පොලිස් බලය පරිමේලස යොදන්නේ කියලා.
The Elections Commissioner, who also noted that 250 transparent plastic ballot boxes have been brought down for this election, clarified the reasons for this measure.
ගස් කපන එක අඩු කරන්න.
This was done to reduce the cutting down of trees. Mahogany trees have to be cut down for ballot boxes. We will paste brown colored paper around this. We will also paste a number on the box in a different color. There is an identification number for this. It is inserted from here, and once it is inserted, it cannot be taken out. There is a paper which the candidates have signed for after the election. Otherwise, they will say that these have been changed. It is a myth. We have done this to prevent such things.
This is News First, Election Headquarters.
Police media spokesperson Superintendent of Police Buddhika Sirivardhana said that 24,500 police personnel have been deployed for security in the 3 provinces where the elections are to take place tomorrow.
That's right, Stephanie. Now, SP Buddhika Sirivardhana also added that 2 police officers will be stationed at each of the polling centres. Meanwhile, the ballot boxes were transported to the respective polling centres today amid police protection.
Ballot boxes that will be used for the elections at all 3 districts in the central province were transported to the polling centres this morning. Ballot boxes for the polling centres for the 2 districts in the northwestern province were transported today in this manner. Meanwhile, Elections Commissioner Mahinda Deshapriya toured Puttalam today to look into the preparations ahead of tomorrow's elections. Ballot boxes for polling centres in the northern province were transported this morning.
District returning officers expressed these views to News First ahead of the polls tomorrow.
All ballot boxes that were with us have been handed over to the senior officers of the polling centres and they are en route to the respective polling centres. All preparations have been made for voters to cast their ballot at 825 polling centres. 920 polling stations have been prepared ahead of the elections in the Kurunegala district. Ballot boxes along with the officials were dispatched this morning to their respective 920 polling centres. 170 officials will function as monitors in the district. Furthermore, 5 counting centres have been set up in the Kurunegala district. 89 polling centres will operate in this district. In addition to the 89 centres, a centre has been set up in the Jaffna district and another in the Akirigollav area in the Anuradhapura district for the convenience of the internally displaced persons. The elections will take place tomorrow at these 89 polling centres. 10 returning officers will operate within the Vavuniya district secretariat.
Meanwhile, News First correspondents have also been dispatched to several districts to bring you the latest on the polls.
Well, I'm just outside the Jaffna Central College, which is the main distribution centre of ballot boxes in the Jaffna district. 426,703 voters will cast a ballot from the Jaffna district to elect 16 members of the 90 members contesting from this district alone. I'm Shahan Jurangpath reporting from the Jaffna district for the Northern Provincial Council elections.
We at News First are here in the Nuwara district to bring you details from the Central Provincial Council elections. We are using live digi technology to bring you the latest from Nuwara. We toured several areas of the district today to take a look at the preparations for the elections. Ballot boxes were transported to all polling stations from the Gamini Central College. Security arrangements have been made for the elections tomorrow.
I'm currently standing in front of the District Secretariat Office of Kurunegala. Now, in lieu of the upcoming Provincial Council elections, which is due to commence tomorrow, the Puttalam district and the Kurunegala district, which belongs to the northwestern province, has commenced all its operations. Now, when our News First team toured the district of Kurunegala and Puttalam, we were told by the necessary officials that the ballot boxes and the election officials have arrived at the relevant districts. And stay tuned with News First as we bring you the very latest when the Provincial Council elections kicks off in the northwestern province. Reporting from Kurunegala, I'm Joel Outscoon for News First.
Speaking further at the media briefing, Elections Commissioner Mahinda Deshapriya said that legal action will be taken against candidates who fail to declare their assets.
All those who think they will win have declared their assets. There are some who have not handed it over. They will have to go to courts after being fined 100 rupees. This was not done to corner or inconvenience politicians, but as an effective tool for good governance in this country. I have written to political parties about certain politicians. We have to urge them to take disciplinary action.
ගැනීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් උනන්දු කරවන්න අපිට සමහර ඒවාට වෙලා.
ප්‍රධාන දේශපාලන පක්ෂ කියන්නේ මේ සාකච්ඡා පවත්වනවා. ඡන්දේ ඉලක්ක ඒවා පළකිරීම සහ ප්‍රචාරය
ඒක පවත්වන අයගෙත් පළ කරන අයගෙත් සදාචාරය.
It is a question of ethics of those who conduct and publish such things. However, if someone says something at a press conference to promote votes for themselves, it will be considered as a violation of election laws and we will take action against them.
මැතිවරණ නීති උල්ලංඝනය කිරීමක් කරයි කියන එක යටතේ අපි ඔවුන්ට එරෙහිව ක්‍රියා කරනවා.
මේකට අපේ සමහර අපේක්ෂකයන් SMS තාමත් මේ යනවා. මේවා වලකගෙන ඔබතුමාට කියන්නේ
SMS නවත්තන්න මම නියාමන කමිටුවේ බලයක් මට නැහැ.
SMSs cannot be stopped. I have no authority over that. If someone sends an SMS to his friend, then what happens? Who is going to stop it? If that is the case, then all the SMSs in the country should go through me.
එනයි මුළු ලංකාවේම SMS මං හරහා යන්න ඕනේ. හරි ඒ අපේ
Someone needs to lodge a complaint with certainty that it was committed by a candidate.
ඌසගේ කරේ ගෙජ්ජේ වදින්න මැතිවරණ කොමසාරිස් යන්න ඕනේ නෑනේ.
The Commissioner also commented about future elections.
2020 වගේනේ 50 over එනවා.
Unlike these 2020 fixtures, there will be 50 over fixtures in the western and southern provinces. There is a test match to come after that, isn't it? After these 2020s, there will be one-days and a test match as well. When these come around, we may or may not be in service. Because in 2015, when I turn 60, I must leave. But this elections commissioner can remain until he is 61. This Commissioner General of Elections could even remain here until he is 65. But I cannot say that for certain. If I receive a message before that saying that I have been here long enough, then what can I do? My visa will have expired.
Now, exercising your franchise is an important part of the democratic process. How can you ensure that your vote counts? Let's take a look.
This is a model of the ballot paper that the Election Secretariat will distribute for tomorrow's elections. At tomorrow's elections, the voter can cast a single vote for either a party or an independent group and also cast a maximum of 3 preferential votes for candidates. According to the Election Secretariat, the eligible voter will have to place a cross in the blank cage opposite the symbol of the party or the independent group to mark a vote. Thereafter, preferential vote for candidates can be cast by marking a cross on the serial number of the candidate. A voter can mark preferences for not more than 3 candidates, with a single vote permitted for each candidate. The Election Secretariat says that ballot papers without a vote for a political party or an independent group will be considered as invalid. The Election Secretariat advises voters to mark a vote first and thereafter, if they wish, proceed to mark preferences. The Election Secretariat went on to say that a vote can be cast only with a valid identity card or a valid temporary identity card.